For example, we might have the assumptions. As you can see, if it rained last night, then the floor is wet, and we know that it rained last night. Then the logic gives us a way to derive the new conclusion, which is the floor is wet, out of the correct assumption. So if the assumption is correct, the logic will make sure that your conclusion is correct as well. Okay, this is all about logic. It already exists in mathematics long time ago, 100 years ago. But it is used mainly to prove theorems in mathematics. Okay. The only application of logic is to prove theorem. But when computers has emerged, we see that logic is good. So we can use logic to analyze many things. So we can think of theorem as program. Logic then can analyze your program. If your program is correct, then we can derive many effects of your program, for example. So, in computer engineering, we don't want to prove theorem. We want to prove some property that are useful. Okay. There are two versions of logic. Classical logic. Okay, there are many kinds of logic. The classical or the ordinary kind of logic, there are two versions of them: propositional logic and predicate logic. We will discuss a little bit on these two versions. What is propositional logic? Okay, the propositional logic consists of two things: propositions and Boolean connectives. By proposition, I mean it is a statement or sentence that can be assigned the truth value. We can assign the truth value to that proposition. That proposition can mean many things. It depends on your application. Okay, it can be any symbol or any sentence that is meaningful, like this one: John is programmer. This is an example of proposition. It makes sense to give the truth value to this sentence. So if you give true, then it means John is a programmer. If you give false, then it means John is not a programmer. But some sentence like just do it, or some question, an order or question, is not a proposition because it doesn't make sense to have a truth value. Okay. So the basic thing in propositional logic is that the basic element must be you can assign truth value to the basic element. คือพื้นฐานของ propositional logic คือว่าคือมันมาจากสัญลักษณ์อะไรก็เต็มไปหมดเลยนะฮะแต่สัญลักษณ์เหล่านั้นเนี่ยมันจะแทนประโยคหรือแทนอะไรก็ตามทีสัญลักษณ์นั้นสามารถให้ค่าความเป็นจริงได้แล้วมัน make sense ใน system ของคุณนั่นคือพื้นฐานของ propositional logic ครับอาจจะใช้สัญลักษณ์แทนก็ได้ไม่จำเป็นต้องเป็น full sentence นะฮะ Boolean connective is the usual Boolean operator that you have come across long time ago, I'm sure, like conjunction, disjunction, negation, implication, and so on. Exclusive, this one is also interesting. คือ logic นี่มันผมอยากให้มองแบบนี้นะฮะมันมีสองคืออันแรกเนี่ยมันเป็นภาษาหนึ่งเป็นภาษาที่มีสัญลักษณ์ใช่ไหมฮะ PQR อะไรเต็มหมดเป็นภาษาที่คุณสามารถใช้ Boolean connective เอามาสร้างเป็นประโยคประโยคนั้นนะฮะประโยคนั้นก็อาจจะเป็นประโยคที่คุณใช้แทนอะไรก็ตามทีเช่นคุณอยากมีประโยคภาษาอังกฤษอะไรก็ตามนี่นะฮะเช่น I saw my old friend and either you have grown or have shrunk คุณสามารถใช้ลอจิกในการแทนสมมตินะฮะประโยคนี้ก็ตามโครงสร้าง and or แต่บางครั้งตัวภาษาตรงนี้นะฮะถ้าเราจะคุยต่อใน prolog เนี่ยตัวภาษาตรงนี้มันกลายเป็นโปรแกรมที่จะทำงานนะครับ I'm not going to discuss the truth table for all the or the logical connective. But this one is interesting, exclusive disjunction or exclusive OR, as you know. As you can see that the truth table of this exclusive OR is this one. It only produces the true. It's only produced true if and only if exactly one of them is true. Okay, exactly one of them is true. If both of them is true, then we get false. We can draw 3 observations from this truth table. If P and Q have the same truth value, it gets false. For example, the first and the fourth. The second one, if we apply X to false, if we apply X, exclusive or X with false, we get X. For example, the third and the fourth row give you the example. But if you apply X, the exclusive or of X with true, you get the negation of X. That is shown in the first 2 rows. From this observation, it is very good because you can use exclusive or as a way to do some encryption. So I'd like you to think about this exclusive or as this. We know that X apply exclusive or with false, you get X. Apply X with true, you get not X. The first element I would like you to think of it as a key. Okay. We know that if the key is false, we apply X to get X. If the key is true, we apply X, we get not X. But if the key is random looking and the plain text is X, then the output is random looking. The output depends on the value of the key. If your key is really random, then your output will be random as well. This is the nice property of exclusive OR. And we have this self-cancellation property as well. So we can use, but what I mean is that this exclusive OR is the reverse of itself if you apply with the same element. So for example, if you apply exclusive OR between plain text and key, and you apply exclusive OR with key again, you get plain text as a result. So this exclusive OR, the first one, will be reversed by the second one. Okay, due to the cancellation property, self-cancellation property. Okay, default exclusive OR with false, we get false. Or key with key, you get false. And then the term is reduced to plain text. So this is the one of the interesting logical connective. So the next one is called implication. So this implication or this arrow is combined. It needs 2 operand. Okay, when you see this implication, you should think of it as a conditional proposition. It is like a rule. Okay, the best way to think of it is as a rule. So, for example, if you have P imply Q like this, and P represents it rained last night, Q represents Floyd's bed, then this implication is just a rule, which describes some kind of condition. We normally call P as condition part. Okay, the P in the sentence. Q, we call it conclusion. So P actually represents cause. It is a cause of something, whereas Q represents some effect. Okay, we normally use this implication to represent cause and effect. คือตรงนี้ต้องพูดอย่างนี้เพราะว่าโปรแกรมในโปรล็อกนี่นะฮะเวลาเราเขียนเนี่ยเราจะเขียนเป็นโปรแกรมแต่ละโปรแกรมมันเนี่ยมันจะเป็นประโยคเงื่อนไขอย่างเงี้ย cause effect cause effect cause effect cause effect เวลาคุณเขียนโปรแกรมคุณต้องเขียนอย่างเงี้ย cause effect cause effect